What's going on, everyone? If you are new to the channel, I made 2 previous videos about my journey through the Final Fantasy VII. I want to say trilogy at this point if you're going by the remix, but you catch my drift. Very, very important. This video will contain spoilers, so if you have not played these games in any capacity, please click off this video and come back when you have done so. I have went through, in order, Final Fantasy VII Remake, Final Fantasy VII Crisis Core Reunion, and in the OG game, I had only gotten past Midgar until now. In this video, we're going to be talking about how I went from Crisis Core Reunion to the entirety of the original game, straight into Advent Children. And with Rebirth dropping, I want to discuss what I experienced before Rebirth just now. Strap in. Thank you for watching. It's very, very, very rare when a game comes out that shakes the entire industry as a whole. Oftentimes, we usually say, oh my god, this game is godlike, or oh my god, I love this game, or this game was peak. But what happens when a game truly is at the top of the top? In my opinion, Final Fantasy VII hits all of those boxes and more, from the OG to the remake. And having experienced the game now in 2024 in a very odd way, in an odd order, going from remake to Crisis Core Reunion, there were a lot of things that I knew that I probably shouldn't have known in the order I did. However, it still worked out all the same. In Final Fantasy VII OG, I had to make a choice. Do I just play Rebirth and continue to play the remakes and then play the OG later on? Or do I fill myself in now so I can appreciate Rebirth and the other game that will come out? We don't know how long, but we're going to be waiting a couple years. But do I play that game so I can appreciate them a lot more and to avoid just getting spoiled outright? Because, you know, the game's super old, so people be talking and people be yapping, especially when a new game is here. The story past Midgar, in my opinion, is something to I want to say appreciate, right? Because when I first played Final Fantasy VII, I thought, oh shit, Midgar is practically, I guess, the beginning of this game, like or Midgar, not at the beginning, but Midgar is practically the game itself. It's probably going to end, everything's going to be a Midgar, right? But to know that once you finish Midgar, you're just thrown into this open world where you can pretty much travel to all these different places, not only to gather lore, but to further the story, it makes you feel like Final Fantasy VII is this never-ending experience. From the beautiful music to the colorful cast of characters that join us on the journey to defeat Sephiroth and save the world, you start to understand not only just how crazy that villain is, but just how much turmoil the world has gone through. Aerith, of course, departing us is, I want to say, one of the most crucial, and even though that got spoiled for me, one of the most crucial moments in gaming history, because it showed that a studio was willing to let go of a precious character permanently. I feel like nowadays a lot of risks such as that are not taken, not only because they don't want to upset the fan base, but they don't want to risk upsetting the fan base in a way that would make them, I guess, turn against the game or turn against the story. Spoiler warning for The Last of Us Part 2 if you've never played it. The last time I saw something like that happen was the death of Joel, and that was a major death in that franchise. So for a company to do this early, to teach the lesson of pain, sorrow, and loss, to me was just something unique and an angle that probably wasn't seen that often back in the day. Everything leading up to every moment, from meeting Dyne and hearing that Marlene isn't actually Barrett's daughter, but Barrett feels guilty for what happened to his people by allowing Shinra to make a generator, or a reactor rather, in his hometown with Dyne. It's all just so tragic, with Dyne also taking his life because he cannot forgive himself for the sins that he feels like he carries, and Barrett is to go on to also not only take care of Marlene, to atone for the sins that he feels like he committed for allowing Shinra to, of course, do what Shinra does. Fuck shit up. We love Cloud and Tifa. I'm gonna keep it a stack with you guys. I don't really know why it was ever Aerith Cloud. I don't really understand that. I feel like Aerith always wanted Zack. If anything, Cloud was a rebound. One of my homies even brought up that point. Yeah, Cloud was just a rebound pretty much. Like, Tifa literally held it down for Cloud when he needed the most throughout this entire time. And to speak on that dynamic a little bit more, it's very telling or traumatic that Cloud basically just popped up out of nowhere. He reunites with Tifa. Tifa notices that, damn, I don't know if this is the real Cloud or not, because he's saying a bunch of shit that I remember, but he wasn't there. How does Cloud know these things, or why does he think he experienced these things in his hometown when in reality it was Zack? And so the whole dynamic of that, but her staying with him and really trying to make sure that in the end he was okay, and her believing that he was the real Cloud all this time, goes to show loyalty that I respect. Because let's be honest, when they both fell through, when the weapon was pretty much trying to defend the planet and they fell into the life stream, Cloud was already fucked up beyond belief with Mako poisoning again. Rest in peace to my boy. Like, he can't catch a break in my opinion. But she was able to really sit there and help him piece himself back together and help correct those memories, allowing Cloud to rediscover who he truly was and rediscover why he was having those memories, and of course to remember the GOAT Zack. I think that was probably my favorite part of OG outside of everything else, because of course there's so much other content and characters to talk about, but I don't want the video to drag on forever. So to me, that was my favorite part of OG. I really value the relationship that both of those characters have, and I really do think that it was very powerful, especially given the fact that they knew each other for so long, and the one thing that kept her going and believing that it was Cloud in the end was that he never forgot the night staring at the starry sky with her when they were kids, basically keeping his promise to come back when she was in a pinch. To see Cloud take off the grunt Shinra outfit and throw Sephiroth's bitch ass into the live stream, that was super hype. And honestly, also caused a lot of problems, because my man's fell down there and he was like, all right, you know what, I'm a little fucked up now, I'm gonna just go hide in this cave, repair my body, but I'm gonna keep fucking with you in the meantime. The fact that he had so much control over Cloud, allowing him not only to pretty much beat up Aerith, which was crazy for me to see, but in the end for him to actually almost strike Aerith himself under Sephiroth's control, just goes to show how crazy of a villain, how psychotic Sephiroth actually is. But in the end, Sephiroth took it into his own hands to end Aerith's life, to stop her, because she was the one true person that was able to oppose him and oppose his greater plan with the holy materia. After he made Cloud give him the black materia and he was about to fuck shit up, Aerith just basically said, yeah, nah, I gotta be out real quick, deuces. She goes, tries to save the day, she dies, but at the end of the day she is successful. However, it is still a tragic death, and it is still very hard to see Aerith being put into the water as she sinks away into the life stream. It was very sad, not gonna lie. I did not enjoy seeing that at all, and even though I knew it was coming, it still had a significant impact nonetheless. And so basically after that, the goal just becomes, all right, we just gotta fuck up Shinra, fuck up Sephiroth, and get this shit going. But there's a character that I actually really want to talk about. I want to say my thoughts about Sid. He is an asshole. I understand why he's mad, but damn, he's an asshole. I kind of actually hope they don't change that about him in remake, because I really want them to give him some sort of a redemption arc, because towards the end he realized and finally apologized to the chick that he was basically just being a complete dickhead to. And I feel like having characters like that and allowing them to grow tells a much better story than just censoring them for the hell of it. Red 13, still a GOAT. I loved his story in the canyon. I love that he was able to come to terms and find out that his father was actually a hero and not a piece of shit coward. I thought that was very beautiful. Vincent, the Hot Topic edgelord. I actually think he's a super cool character, and I actually hope that he gets a lot more time in Rebirth or in the third game, because honestly, him falling in love, I believe her name was Lucretia, him falling in love with Lucretia, then just Hojo just fucking shit up. Like, Hojo is a complete dickhead, right? Like, he is an actual asshole because he straight up popped my man's being a hater and then took him and experimented on his body and basically turned him into a fucking monster. I would be a supreme hater too. That's why when he jumped out the casket like, yo, I'm coming with y'all. If I go with you, we gonna see Hojo, right? Bet. I'm like, yes, that is proper hater activity. Go with them, please. But Hojo is just a son of a bitch. Hojo literally gets a chick pregnant, has a son, Sephiroth by the way, and says, oh, this is my son. Okay, I'm gonna inject him with Genova cells, and creates one of the most powerful yet evil motherfuckers on the planet. Hojo, in my opinion, is probably the biggest problem of the game because it seems like everything that bad that happened stems from something that this motherfucker did, which is why I was happy when it was time to run his fade. He got chopped up. He injected himself with Genova cells, I guess, to make himself stronger. But at the end of the day, his fade got ran, and it was so satisfying because, in my opinion, he is the biggest piece of shit in the game for a multitude of reasons outside of just like Sephiroth, who is obviously the villain who wants to destroy the planet. But Sephiroth is how he is because of Hojo. He sucks. And then the dude is a homewrecker too. Like, how? If Hojo is your man, I don't know what to say. Fuck that guy. Continuing on, when the gang gets captured and basically Tifa has her one-on-one with Scarlet where they slap boxing on top. They just slap box, and I'm gonna keep it a stack. There ain't no shot that Scarlet would ever get real slaps on Tifa. Tifa knows how to throw hands. That didn't make sense to me. And Kate Sith has a little redemption where he pretty much helps Barrett save Tifa, and they all get out of there. And the gang is trying to reunite. They're trying to get the huge materia so they can try to counteract Sephiroth's plan, but then that fails. Everything's getting fucked up. The planet is basically getting fucked up, and Sephiroth literally is about to achieve his goal. I am very happy that in the end, through everything, they are able to overcome Sephiroth not only by helping each other, but with the help of Aerith, who is now alive in the live stream where all living things end. And so even though they defeated Sephiroth, and that was one hell of a battle too, seeing all those different phases of having to fight this motherfucker, and then he basically turns into a god, and you still can't get rid of him, and his plan is still gonna succeed after you kill him, quote unquote, by the way. To see the planet and the live stream come together to pretty much suppress Meteor, I was so freaking happy because in my heart, I felt like, damn, Aerith is gone, but like, is she really gone? And it just goes to show that even though Sephiroth was suppressing Holy as much as he could, it didn't matter because the power of light always overcomes darkness. Kingdom Hearts, baby. The story of Final Fantasy VII is one that I believe, from playing it, is not only about coming to terms with loss, but also never giving up in the face of everything going to shit. Because a lot of things went to shit during that playthrough of that game, but I was very, very happy that the team was able to overcome it and pretty much save the planet, which was their goal from the beginning. Not only that, they were able to honor the deaths of everybody from Avalanche, Aerith, Zack, and all that opposed Shinra, greedy ass fucking practices, but of course did not want Sephiroth to rule the planet. I think a story like that is one that many can learn from, and I think Square did a very good job of demonstrating that to the fans. And honestly, I think that is also a part of what makes this game such a legendary game in the Final Fantasy series. A series that I actually want to play a lot more because of just how legendary it actually is. And I know I'm rambling and I'm all over the place, but there's so much you could talk about, and I'm so excited because this literally was one of the best games I have ever seen and one of the best games I'm currently playing. Final Fantasy VII OG, in my opinion, is a beautiful game through and through. For its time, seeing those polygons is very, very funny, in my opinion. And honestly, back in the day, people saw that and were probably like, oh shit, this is great, because we were used to the graphics of the Nintendo 64 and the consoles that were before that. The PlayStation 1 being Sony's first console into the gaming market, coming out with bangers like Final Fantasy VII or the other Final Fantasy games, and of course being CD based, so the graphics and the amount of data being able to be stored on these was just different for the time. Definitely shocked, I want to say, the gaming industry as a whole. But to come out with a colossal banger like this game, doing the things that it did, with the cutscenes that it had, the graphics definitely show their age, but if you appreciate retro hardware, you know damn well that for the time, that was probably insane for people to see. Now, to get fully caught up. Let's talk about Advent Children. So first and foremost, I want to say this. I heard that this movie was ass. And if this movie was ass, I don't know what the hell y'all saw back in the day. Because some fresh eyes on this movie, I thought this movie was phenomenal. And I am here to talk about it and talk about why I liked it so much. Now, this movie came out in 2005. I can already tell by the quality of the CGI. And I'm seeing flip phones and shit, which... honestly, is very charming. I was talking about how I used to have a Boost mobile phone and they got Motorola Razrs in this movie, but that's beside the point. It was very, very nice to see, I want to say, I guess, a bit of a time skip, right? What happens after Final Fantasy VII ends? I believe this movie came out 8 years after the game, so fans were waiting a long ass time for any amount of closure that they didn't know that was actually going to happen. Apparently, life is fucked. Obviously, Meteor almost took out everybody. The planet looks even worse off than it is before. There's no sun, everything is gray, and you just got Cloud pretty much suffering from a disease that is coming from the life stream from Sephiroth, who is hating from the grave, by the way, a literal legacy hater. Sephiroth basically manifests these, I want to say, discount Sephiroths. Kadaj is one of them, and there's two others, right? And through the whole movie, they're kind of throwing hands, trying to find Jenova, obsessed with Jenova, aka their mother, referring to Cloud as their brother, jumping him. My man is fucked up with the geostigma, such as other people, and they basically collecting all these kids that have Jenova cells that are also infected with the geostigma. The shit is terrible, right? Tifa don't even get phone calls from Cloud, and the whole time I feel like, yo, Tifa's getting attacked. Where the fuck is Cloud? Cloud, you're not supposed to show up after Tifa gets her fade ran. You're supposed to help her as the fade is being ran. Like, what are we doing, right? And so Cloud just feels like he's given up, and I feel like he's given up because of, I guess, his disease, the geostigma, right? And so if there is no cure for it and he can die from this, almost what's the point of trying? What's the point of living? And I could tell that Tifa's bothered by this because she's pretty much seeing a shell of the former self of the man that she loves. I felt bad. I felt really bad, and I had so many questions because honestly, I thought since they saved the world, everything would be fine. But if everything was fine, we wouldn't really have a movie, right? And so Kadaj and the other discount Sephiroths are basically just causing havoc, and it's up to the gang to fix it. Barrett is nowhere to be found. Marlene is clouded up and is a main character, which is actually great. I actually like that they made her funny, interesting, and I like the little scene where she's pretty much copying Barrett's mannerisms and how he talks, and she's doing the little gun thing with her hand. Like, she's awesome, man. She's awesome. But basically, these guys kidnap all the kids. They're trying to they take them to the place where Aerith unfortunately passed, and Cloud is going there to save Marlene. And it's just like, yo, these guys are dickheads. Quite literally. They are obsessed with trying to find their mother, and they're going to do so by any means, even if that means intimidating the few remaining Shinra operatives that are left. It is crazy because Rufus was in a blanket the whole time, but he was just fine, and he really played everybody. So my man had the little case for the Jenova, the Jenova, I don't want to call it Jenova juice, but whatever, Jenova. My man threw that shit off the roof. Homeboy went after that shit with his life. They summoned a motherfucking big ass monster in the center of the city. Everything's getting fucked up, but the gang reunites when shit gets rough. I don't know who sent the group text in the SMS or the WhatsApp group. I don't know who hit the Discord line, even though Discord damn well didn't exist back then. But to see everybody come together was gorgeous. I got to see the whole gang, Yuffie, Vincent, Kate Sith, don't care if I ain't say his name right, Sid popped up. I don't want to talk about Barrett because I don't know what the fuck he was wearing. My man had on fishnets. He had cornrows and his voice did not match him. He ain't even look as jacked as he's supposed to be. That's not my Barrett. And fucking, yo, Tifa's voice, man, I wasn't fucking with that. But regardless, Red was there. I got to see everybody come together and they all worked together to take out the big ass monster that was summoned by Kadaj and his goons. But if you guys remember this, when they were all throwing Cloud up towards the monster, it was pretty much almost every teammate giving him a lift, propelling him higher and higher into the air, and you could see he was picking up more and more speed. And just at the last moment, that little bit of extra speed that he needed was granted to him by Aerith. And I want to say something. This movie providing as much screen time as it did to both Aerith and Zack was beautiful. Zack, in my opinion, being symbolized through the wolf after being called a young puppy as a joke just goes to show how much he was still by Cloud's side even to the end, as you saw that grown wolf sometimes being near Cloud throughout the movie. Not to mention Cloud also remembering the words of Zack to embrace his dreams and be his living legacy, push Cloud through, I want to say, some of the hardest points of the movie. And with Aerith still being a voice all the way from the live stream, still watching over the group and watching over Cloud, she was able to help him not only reach that monster, but take his ass out. And then, of course, in the final battle of the movie, you have Cloud versus fucking Sephiroth. Sephiroth dead ass came out of no. I'm telling you guys, this dude is a hater of the century. Sephiroth straight up said, you know what? I got my discounts here. I'm gonna just pop up through one of my discounts. Yo, what's good, bro? Let's run the run back. Literally peak action. And the first time I even saw some of these sequences was from the Smash trailer with Sephiroth. So seeing what they took from Advent Children in Advent Children was fucking awesome, because that's where I was introduced to that sequence from. And that fight was godlike. And the fact that towards the end Cloud was getting sliced up, blood coming out, I was like, there's no way he dies, right? There's no way you can make pretty much, I want to say, a sequel to FF7 and kill off Cloud. Like, you already got Aerith, you already got Zack. I can't deal with this. Because if you guys remember, when Cloud was running into battle to run the fade, he had a flash through his eyes where he saw Zack and Aerith, and that was basically telling of he doesn't want to lose anybody else that he cares about. And Sephiroth is just talking shit, pretty much trying to fry him, talking about what do you cherish the most so I could rip it away. And then Cloud's like, motherfucker, you still don't get it? I cherish everything. I'm not like you. My man starts going blue. The limit is on lock. Starts cutting his bitch ass up. You see the combo in full effect. Sephiroth ain't know what the fuck to do, bro. It was glorious. And with that being said, the homies are watching Cloud from the skies, basically in Sid's ship. Some of them want to help, some don't, but in the end, they just allow Cloud to run the fade by himself, because it is, at the end of the day, his fight against pretty much his arch nemesis. And after Cloud is able to overcome Sephiroth again, which is pretty fucking annoying, by the way, I'd be so pissed. Well, as Cloud is able to overcome Sephiroth again, everything gets restored. The water that was in the church, by the way, and even through all that destruction, the church is still intact. Remember that. The water that was under, I guess, the floor of the church is the reason why the flowers were able to grow there, and is the reason why the geostigma was able to be healed out of Cloud and everybody else infected with it. Because keep in mind, the geostigma was something really running rampant and just straight up, it's gonna kill you. It's just killing people. You're sick. And so from the grave, Aerith hears people, and I remember her saying, why does everybody keep calling me mother, right? And so you know that even though she's dead, she isn't actually completely gone. And that is why Tifa also thanks her when she realizes that even though Aerith is gone, she's still been helping this entire time. And I want to say, I think the most beautiful part about this movie is not even just getting to see our heroes again, or getting to see the dynamic of Cloud and Tifa once more, or Cloud overcoming his demons. I think the most beautiful part is that it gives closure not only to the cast of characters that we've grown to love so much, but it also gives closure to Aerith and Zack. Aerith and Zack passed in the most unfortunate circumstances, and something that bothered me all the way up to this time was, will they ever be able to be reunited again? Will they ever know that the reason why Zack didn't come back was because he passed? Will Zack ever know that Aerith still thought about him this entire time? shit, will Zack ever know that she passed? I think that's the most beautiful part of the movie, because as you know, it literally shows them both exiting the church together, showing that they were reunited once more through the live stream, and that even though they may be gone, they'll always be together. And the movie pans over to Zack and Cloud's Buster Sword, again giving tribute to both memories of a fallen hero and the legacy of a living legend. Honestly, that shit was just, it was a trip, right? I don't understand how anybody could ever say that movie was bad. Off to Rebirth, guys. I was told that Final Fantasy VII ends with Aerith looking into the live stream, but then Remake begins with her looking into the live stream, and that there is a theory that Remake is actually a sequel where the events of FF7 are supposed to be happening, but Sephiroth appears early and it appears that he knows way too much already, and so does Aerith. So could we be playing a game where Sephiroth is trying to alter the timeline and Aerith is aware that he's evil and she's trying to stop him already, and things pan out to the point where they pay tribute to the original because they're trying to stay on course, but when things aren't supposed to be happening that are happening, those freaking ghost things show up trying to correct everything and make sure it stays on track. Of course, we know that Zack may be alive in an alternate reality, and honestly, Rebirth, shit, I'll be playing this by the time this video comes out. I need the answers, just like you guys. So enjoy the game. I really hope you enjoyed this video. Please, please, please be sure to share it. Be sure to like it. And of course, if you really do enjoy the content, be sure to subscribe. The only way I can know people enjoy videos like this is with that support. And for those that have been watching since the beginning and even now, thank you so much. Take it easy. Peace out. Deuces.